Welcome back, guys, to another video brought to you by your one and only Literary Pharaoh. Just to give you guys an update. I remember I did a video on here. I uploaded a video, and I think I was telling you guys that I was getting ready for a job interview. The interview was on the 17th of June. It was on the 17th. And I didn't do a video about the interview, but I think I mentioned it. I think it was one of those videos when I was driving in the rain or something. I think I was talking about my mom's, what my mom is going through in the hospital. And I was talking about my brother and talking about like different mindsets that you can have, like the power of having a strong mindset. But anyway, unfortunately, I didn't get the job that I was going for. This would have been a huge financial increase for me. I was looking forward to getting this job. Actually, this wasn't a goal of mine. This was a job that was brought to my attention by my superiors, by my supervisors, and they told me that just look into it. My career path is not pointing towards this job per se, but it would have been nice to have it. I prepared hard for it. I even created my proposal. I did great. I'm not even going to sit here and say I didn't do good. I did well in the interview. At the first phase of the interview process, I knocked it out the park. And the second part of the interview process, which was the in-person interview with the panel, it was like a panel of seven. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it was about 7 to 8 people on the panel. And I thought I handled those interview questions very well. I got a call yesterday from the director, and she told me that they went with another candidate. And this is the reason that they gave me. They gave me the reason of they went with somebody who was more experienced. And she also mentioned the fact that it seems like on my resume that I'm trying to go into leadership in terms of public school leadership. And I think that was a knock. I think that was a negative on me. I think that they're looking for somebody who wants to be in that position. And it's not that I don't want to be in that position, but you guys understand in life, you're not, when you apply for a job, your goal long term is not to stay at that job forever. I think they looked at my career path. They saw that I'm in this leadership program. They looked at me as if, oh man, he's not going to be here long. But that job that I went for, the interview that I went for, it's usually always open. Like, that's a year-to-year thing. Like, that position is always open. I've been with my district for 6 years now, and I could probably mention on one occasion where it wasn't open, like on a year-to-year basis, but definitely at maximum it's always open like every 2 years, but it's usually every year. So in other words, that position may be open again next year. And I think that that's a red flag. And I was going to ask that question during the panel interview. I didn't bring it up in a panel interview. I was going to bring up the question if I made it to the third phase of the interview process. I would have just said, hey, why is there such a huge turnaround with this position? Like, it's a year-to-year thing. No one stays there long term. So I don't know if they were looking for somebody who wanted to be there long term, but I didn't get it. And like I said, she didn't. But then again, I reached out to the director via email. She's yet to respond, and I wanted to ask her, like, is there anything that I could have done differently in the interview process, because I'm still applying for that same position in other districts. I want to know. I'm inquiring of her feedback to get, some sort of insight as to what can help me improve in the interview process. Because if there's something that she can tell me that I said wrong, that I didn't know, things that I need to kind of sharpen myself on, then I want to improve in that, in that regard. However, I don't think that I did bad. I'm not here to I'm not trying to be arrogant. I think I did very well, because even when she talked to me over the phone, she wasn't. She had this voice like, we just went with somebody else. They were just more experienced. Da, 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 da. And it seems like you're trying to go into leadership. So I think they used that against me. They figured that, okay, this is not a job he's trying to be long term. He's looking to kind of work here, and then he'll be out in the next year. And then we have to find somebody else to fill the position again. But for the 6 years that I've been with the district, they've always looked for another position. It's been, that job is always open. So it's unfortunate, because I was already, there's this thing they talk about, having like the power of your voice, the power of word, the power of thought, the power of positive mindset. That shit's bullshit. It's not that I don't have a positive mindset. People say, oh, watch your words. Words are spells. When you say certain things, well, if words are spells, then I should have gotten this job, because I spoke confidently. I didn't talk about if I get it. I talked about when I got the job. I went in there like I got it. Like, usually when I get in interviews, it's my job to lose. Once you bring me in, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to say no to me. And I think even the tone that the director had over the phone was one of like, it was hard. It was almost as if my ambition, whatever career path that they saw me going on, was a red flag to them. Not in a negative way, like, oh my God, he's a bad employee. It's just, okay, for our department, we're looking for somebody who wants to be here long term. And it seems like this guy is not going to be here. He's going to probably just be here for a year, get his leadership certificate, and he's going to be out into campus leadership. And I think to them, they didn't want that. I think my ambition and my endeavor to elevate my career became a hindrance to my immediate success. So yeah, it pissed me the fuck off, because I worked very hard. I prepared very hard, and nothing to show for it. I'm very disappointed, because I start to count my ducks in a row. I start to kind of like count my money. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be paid like this. My paychecks are gonna look like this. I'm getting excited. I'm thinking, okay, this is my opportunity to increase my salary to, better the living situation for my wife and my kids. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So I'm going to be back again, working the same job that I have been working, and I'm grateful for it. I do think that I'm underpaid and undervalued in a sense, because if I'm valued, then my income would match the value that I have. Value is tied to finances. Jobs that are valued in America are jobs that they pay a lot. Jobs that are not valued that much, you don't get paid that much. So that's just the way the economy works. That's the way life works. Value is attached. Value has a dollar amount. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I don't agree with it. I don't think that people's value should be tied to money, but that's just the way it is. And so with that being said, I'm going to continue just to move forward. And yeah, that positive mindset stuff is bullshit, because they'll tell you that words are spells. Be careful of what you say, because if you say something, then you're going to manifest it. Well, I think it only applies when something doesn't go your way. So say, for instance, right now it doesn't work, because if it was something that worked, then I would have got the job. I think that there's something that we're overlooking. We're overlooking the aspect of speaking the truth. And even though sometimes the truth may not be what you want to hear, it may not be something that you want to contend with, but it needs to be spoken as well. I don't think life works, because if we understand life to be mathematical and it deals with numbers, and math is, the world is based upon logic and things that make sense, it doesn't matter what thoughts you think. People say, oh, if you think something, you're attracting energy from the universe and you're bringing it in. In a sense, yes, that works. Speaking positive things into existence, but also even in something that happens incrementally in time. So like if in a sequence of events, if something happens like right now, it's okay to call it out for what it is. I think that not getting that job was bullshit. I think that I'm upset about it. And this is not the first time that I've been rejected. And it doesn't feel good. And I do harbor some thoughts of negativity, but I think it's okay. It's okay to think about all my rejections. That's just the way life works. If everything's about frequency, right? So when something positive usually happens to somebody, they tend to kind of think about all the obstacles that they've overcome. So say for instance, I did get this job. I'd be like, wow, look how far I've come. I know I graduated this year. I worked this job at this year. I did this, I did that. Oh my God, look how far I've come. You tend to hinge your mindset frequency upon the positive things that have happened in the past. And you start to kind of go down the sequences of events chronologically about how you've overcome and overcame certain things in your life. And then you start to kind of bring everything back full circle, and you sort of like join everything together, taking what you have in your current state and thinking about all the things that have happened in your past life or in your past in the past. So that's the way life works. And then when something negative happens, like me not getting this damn job, then you start to think about all the failures that you've had. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be a failure either. It means that I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to work harder. I've already reached out to the director to ask her, is there anything that I can do to improve with my interview responses? And I'm waiting for her response, because if she responds and says, oh, no, you answered the questions perfectly, it's just because we just wanted to go with somebody who was more experienced, and it seems like you're trying to go into campus leadership, and we wanted somebody who we believe was going to stay here long term. Now, if she's transparent enough and honest enough to say that, then I'm okay with that. I think that's stupid, because nothing's guaranteed. I can get into this position and work it and like it and stay for a couple of years, but that's not the case here. So with that being said, I don't believe in that words are powerful type shit. I feel like your actions are more powerful than your fucking words. So let me give you an example. I could think as negative as I want, but if I get my ass out there and grind, then my grind is going to overpower my words. So let me give you another example. If I think that I want to lose weight, and I'm thinking it, and I never put actions to my thoughts, then what good are my thoughts? Even if I say the words of, I'm going to be fit, I'm going to be fit, I'm going to be fit, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be healthy, and I don't do anything about that, then what good are the words that I just said? Those words don't mean a damn thing. So it doesn't mean that your words and actions have to match. They can be incongruous. They don't have to match. I think that your actions are the most powerful thing. So I'm human, man. That shit pissed me the fuck off. And I was upset. I didn't show that. I mean, I was calm and cool in front of my wife. You know, she was like, how do you feel about it? I said, it's okay. I mean, it wasn't, and again, I didn't go into this summer seeking that job. That, like I said, my supervisor was the one that said, hey, look into this. Because she understands that I've outgrown my position. She understands that, hey, you should be further along in your career, and she's trying to help me out. That's why I'm in this leadership program. I'm taking these courses, and I'm studying for this exam that I'm going to be taking soon, and I'll be updating you guys with that. Hopefully, I will pass the exam, and I will end up being getting into campus leadership. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I have the skill set, and I've just been in education too damn long, and I'm ready to impact a district in a much more intentional way, in a much more impactful way, in terms of being more widespread and being more infectious, or in my actions and the things that I do. And of course, the higher income doesn't hurt either. It helps. So that's what I'm looking into. We understand that we're always in inflation. There's never been a year we're not in inflation. That's just, the economy is inflation. It's done intentionally, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And it just keeps us in this, attached to this rat race, and makes us indentured servitudes. It makes us, wage slaves. We're all slaves in a sense, trying to fight for a higher salary. That's the capitalistic system that we live in. So I'm not at all bothered by those people who say, "Oh, you didn't have a positive mindset." I did. That debunks that bullshit. So don't go around thinking it's because, and then another thing too, it's also easy to play the race card, which I'm not going to do, because I see why a lot of people of color use the race card, because it's easy to say, "Oh, I didn't get the job because I was black." No, I didn't get the job because of the reason she gave. I would not have even gotten this far if I always used that because I'm black excuse. Sometimes you just don't get certain things. Not all white people get it. As a matter of fact, that panel was nothing but ladies. It was one African American lady, and the rest of them were just old white women. And I can use that and say, "Oh, it's because it was white women. They didn't want a black guy." No, that's not it. I just didn't get the job for the reason that they gave. See, that's the difference. I don't use my emotions. My emotions are not going to override my logic here. But I think that we owe it to ourselves to be very, very truthful with ourselves and with what's going on. I don't think that it's smart to see something and then say that it's not there. I think that's delusional. So it's when you fail, call it a failure. It is a failure. Now, don't say that because you're not a failure. You're successful. Look how far you've come. Yeah, overall I'm successful, but in this stage of my life, in this particular time, in this event of me not getting the job that I was seeking out, I failed. And it's okay to call that shit out. It just makes you work harder not to fail next time. That's what it is. So it's just disappointing. I should have been further along in my career by now. Like I said before, many years ago I took this exam, and I'm not, when I talk about my career, I intentionally evade being specific about, you guys can put two and two together about what I do, but I'm not going to tell you like what district and what school and all that other stuff, because I don't think the point of these videos is for you to know the details of my career. It's just for you guys to get the general picture of what I'm trying to tell you. If you get what I'm trying to convey, then you can just get the moral of the message. I don't think that the moral of the message lies in the details that I'm intentionally not giving you. I should have been further along in my career. 2013, I got my master's degree in leadership, and you're supposed to take this particular exam to get your certificate. I exhausted my attempts. I failed the test 5 times. It's okay. I failed it. I failed. See, that's the thing. You have to be able to call things as they are too. This idea of like, "Oh, you didn't fail, think positive." That's delusional. That's a precursor to mental illness. You're training your brain to go against the logic, and when you get comfortable doing that, then you find yourself on the periphery of mental illness, soon to be in the center of it, if you continue that path. So we almost have to make sure that we balance ourselves out, call things for what they are, but that doesn't mean that you're putting yourself in a perpetual state of always being a failure either. And I didn't, because if that's the case, after failing the test 5 times, I would just quit my job and quit my career and be a bum, right? No, I continued to work. I continued to excel in my career. I continued to, even now, 6 years that I've been with this district, to the point that I'm so good at what I do that I wasn't even seeking anything out. I was fine and complacent. I was done with that leadership stuff. But I have so many people around me telling me, "Oh man, you're so great at this. You need to do this. You need to do this." So sometimes the universe will speak to you. Even when you yourself are okay, you'll have the universe speak to you through other people. People telling you, "Hey man, I don't see you doing this. Hey, I see you doing this." And especially if you're under good leadership. Good leadership is always going to push you in the right direction. They're always going to push you in the right direction. And that's why I believe that it's not always about the money. If you're working under good leadership, that's your best bet. And this director lady that didn't hire me, they went with somebody else, I'm okay. Now that I just said that, I'm okay, because if you're hiring somebody based upon experience and you think that I'm not going to stay at the job for a long period of time, then that wouldn't be a person that I would want to work with, because I want them to hire. And on the email, I thanked her. I said, I thank you for the interview, and congratulations on you guys finding the best candidate. The best candidate is not always the best interviewer, or the best candidate with the best resume, or the candidate with the best experience. It can be sometimes it's the best fit. And I think that my fit didn't fit with them, because they know for a fact that, and it's true, I was not going to stay in that position long. My goal was probably to stay there for 1 year. And then once I got that leadership position, once I got my leadership stuff all done, then I'd have been out of there. I would have worked 1 year. Then after this year, then I would have been gone. And they didn't want that. She actually said that in so many words. She's like, and you're also looking, it seems like you're looking to go into leadership. It's almost like your career path doesn't fit this. So we're going to just hire somebody who's going to be okay with this. And it's not that I'm not going to be okay with that position. I was going to be okay with the position because the pay was a lot more. And that would have helped my family out a lot. So with that being said, man, we have to get to a point where our actions speak louder than our words. Don't get so caught up at the thoughts and words. It's okay to be fucking disappointed. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to sometimes think negative. But your actions will override your negative thinking. And that's where I'm at. So I sulked yesterday. I was in my feelings yesterday. But I'm, just having this video today is kind of helping just talk it out. Because I really, really thought I had the job in a bag. I was confident about it. I came home, spoke highly about it to my wife. And that's another thing too. People say, oh, talk things out. But that also adds to your disappointment. Because I feel if I went into the interview thinking, okay, I may not get it. Let me just do my best. I hope I get it. I hope I get it. I hope I get it. And if I don't get it, I'm like, okay, I just didn't get it. But because I spoke so positively and I was so confident about getting the job and then not getting it, it's like I hit a harder wall. I hit the ground a little bit harder. So it's a double-edged sword. You can play the all positive mindset shit all you want and say, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to be great. Oh, I'm going to be this. And what happens when you're not? Now you feel like shit. So sometimes you almost have to play the humble game and eat humble pie your whole life. Stay in the middle. Don't be too high. Don't be too low. That sort of keeps you safe from the psychological onslaught that you will have if you don't get something that you were actually looking for. Because there's a psychological aspect that happens with us. It's just part of our biology. We get disappointed as people. How many times have you got out for something and were disappointed? Whether it's a job you were seeking you didn't get, a promotion you didn't get, it happens. And it's a natural human response to be disappointed. And it's a natural human response to sometimes be negative. And it's also a natural human response to be positive when positive things happen. So we are momentum. We as human beings, we ride the momentum of what we're in, right? If that makes any sense. We ride the momentum of what we're in. And so if you're on something positive, you ride that momentum. If you're on something that's negative, then you ride that momentum for a while. But don't stay on that frequency too long. Get off of it and start back on your path of grinding again. And that's what I'm going to do. Not going to let this stop me. I'm just going to continue doing what I do. And I just hope that things open up. I know that things will open up. And I just want to get through this damn program and just move on, man. Because the salary that I make is not cutting it right now. Just to be a little bit transparent here, let me be honest with you guys. After bills are done, I'm left with, I'm not gonna tell you how much I make, but after bills are done, I'm left with about $200-$300 left to last me till I get paid again. So roughly speaking, I only make about $600 of self money, like money I can use on myself. The rest are to bills. That's no way to live. Now you got to factor gas. You got to factor food. I have 3 kids. Something in the house may need to get fixed. So there are a lot of times where I find myself using my credit card. So not only do I have college loan debt, I have credit card debt, and I also use the credit card to finish this program that I'm in, this leadership program that I'm in, which was a little bit over $6,000. So I mean, income tax money next year, I'm going to use most of that money, if not all of it, to tackle those credit cards. And hopefully, and I have to say hopefully because that's just humility. It doesn't mean that I don't believe. I believe in myself, but I'm going to use the word hopefully because it hasn't happened yet. Now, people will say speak it into existence. Again, that's a very, very dangerous game to play because humility is a virtue. Being overconfident is not a virtue. Being too confident is not a virtue because we don't necessarily know what the future is going to bring. So when you say hope, you don't know what, because the future hasn't come yet. All I know is the present. So I have to hope. And hopefully, when I increase my salary, then I will use, probably the first 2 years are going to be used to just taking care of those credit cards, right? The college loan debt, I'm not even worrying about that. I'm never going to pay that off. I'm just paying the minimum, using my income driven repayment plan. I'm just using that as a way to kind of keep them off of me, because you understand, if you don't pay the credit, they'll put a lien on your house, they'll put a lien on your car, like they'll come get your stuff. So this is almost like a heist. The IRS, these tax people, these credit card companies, they're all scammers, because they loan you money. Of course, you guys know the drill. I'm not going to beat you guys over the head with something that you already know, but you understand how it works. We're going to loan you money, fine. They don't mind giving you all the money that you're asking for, but they're going to put those criminally high interest rates with it, meaning that if you don't pay the money back immediately as fast as possible, we're going to make it where it's impossible for you to ever get rid of the balance. So you're going to spend your whole life just paying. That's slavery. And they understand, they know that your financial situation won't allow you to pay that off, but all they want is a steady stream of income that's coming in monthly. All right? So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Just wanted to share with you guys what happened after that interview. Am I disappointed? Yes. But is that going to make me quit and give up on things? No. I'm going to continue to go on. I was qualified. I would not have gotten that far if I wasn't good enough. So I'm good enough to get any job. I'm a quick learner. All that stuff, it's easy work for me. They're just afraid that I'm not going to be there long. That's what it was. All right. Take care, guys. Peace out. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Peace. Till next time. Bye.